Hello friends, I'm making this module to show you that what are annotations in TestNG. In the previous module of TestNG, I have shown that what is TestNG and how we can install or configure our TestNG to a IDE Eclipse for Java. Okay. After the installation of TestNG is that how we can use the TestNG. In simple term, I can say that we can use TestNG using the annotations. In the plain term, what the annotations are, they are generally the explanation or to a diagram or something. So with TestNG, we works with annotations. Okay. To understand better the different annotations, let do it practically. I will create first a Java project. Okay. We'll name it as Selenium project. Finish. Under this I will make a package learning TestNG. Okay. Under this I will make my class and I will name as TestNG Annotation 1. That is the one class. You have been studying before that to or the basic program of Hello World, we used to write here public static void main. Okay. When running with TestNG, we don't need to bother about the public static void main because generally the execution of program starts from void main class function. But when we are using TestNG, the TestNG API makes it has the public static void main and it calls it and it launches the program. Okay. Now with TestNG is basically a test framework. Okay. Whatever we need to test in TestNG should be under this annotation, that is @test. Okay. If I make a function here, public void, I will name it as test1. That is my first test. Okay, this is my function, and I will write here system.out.ln inside test1. Okay. If I write @test annotation above this function, then it will be considered by TestNG that it is your a test case. Okay. It's giving me error because I need to add my TestNG library to my project. Okay. So I will add my TestNG library. As soon as I click, you will find your TestNG library is attached to your project. After this, you need to import the library for this TestNG, that is testng.annotations. Okay. Save this program. For running the TestNG, you can do it two ways. You have multiple ways, but in the initial level, I will just show you the two ways. First is right click on your program. Let me first increase my font size so it will be more clear to you. Okay, I will make it 16. Yeah, it's good. Okay, so the first method for running TestNG is that click on run as TestNG test. You will get this TestNG test. Click on it. Okay, and in the console you will see it is giving me as inside test1. I'm printing this one inside my first inside test1, so it is printed and it has given me a report that it is passed. Test1 is the name of my first test and it is saying it is passed. If you go to this here results of TestNG, you will also see a report which is in green because it is passed. Okay, so this is the first main advantage, that you get the reports generated automatically running with the TestNG. So green is mean that the test case has passed. The second method is go to your package, project and run as TestNG test. So it will run all the tests which are present under this. So you will getting the same report here. Sorry. Okay, you will be getting this. Oh, I have switched them. Sorry, guys. Okay. Okay, so you are getting the same report that is inside test 1 and one test case is pass. Okay. So let's suppose that I want to add another test case, and that test case is this function public void test2. I'm just giving here system.println. Maybe you must be having some code and logics under of the for the test, but my main motive here is to show the annotations, what they are and how they work. Okay, and here it will be inside test2 to make it be if I run this. Okay, let's suppose if I run this and if I check the report, it is giving me only test inside test1. If I go to the report as well, okay, it's not generated. Let's me run again. Yeah. So if I run again, the reports are generated now. So you will see that you will get only, you have executed only test 1. Only this test has been run, not this one, because TestNG only recognize or it works with annotations. We have not mentioned @test before this, so TestNG won't recognize. Now if I mention @test and if I again execute, run this as TestNG, in the reports in my console you will see yes, inside test1 and inside test2 and both the test cases are part. Go to the report and oh, why it's maybe there's some issue. It won't it normally don't happen. Yeah. Okay, so it's giving me the report for both the tests which are green. Okay, so if you are writing multiple test cases, you need to include these annotations. Now there are different type of annotations we want to learn in the first level. Now what these annotations are? First is @test. Okay, now the next annotation I will be talking about is @before method and @after method. Now what these annotations are? If I write here annotation that is @before method, I will include this annotation to my project. Okay, this before method consists all the prerequisites. Okay, for example, for running this test 1, you need to initialize some variables. Okay, or anything you want to enter something, or you want that before this the login should be there. Any test case which have prerequisites, you can mention under this before method, so that your test is only concentrating upon the logic for the tests. It's not working on the prerequisites. So, okay, so make a function here, public void. These name can be anything. For clarity, I'm just naming it the same as the annotations. It can be anything before method, and I will write here I am, or suppose before every test I want to open my browser, opening browser. Okay, I save this, and if I again run this as TestNG test, just What's going on, guys? Just hold. Actually, I'm not using mouse, so it's I'm not comfortable with my keypad here. Yeah. If I run this, so this is my report generated. You check in the console that first it has opened the browser. First it has opened the before method. Then it is giving me inside test1. Okay. It again opens the browser. That it again go to before method and it open the and it then printed inside test2. Then test2. Okay. So what we mean by here at the rate before method is that at the rate before method will apply to all the tests which are present in that class. Okay, so if you write any other method also, so it before running that test, before method will be called. So it is a type of initialization or prerequisites, because for before running every test you want to open your fresh browser. So before every test this method will be called. Similarly, before method we have one method which is or one annotation, that is after method. As the name suggests, it will be just opposite of the before method. This after method will be called after and each test. Okay, let me write here public void after method. Okay, and in this, suppose I want to close my browser. After every test I want to close my browser, so that in the next test I again open the browser and close it. Okay, and perform my test execution. I will write closing browser. I will include my libraries after method, and again if I run this as a TestNG test, so you see here the report here generated is opening browser, then it's going under my test, then it's closing browser, that is after test. After execution of this, it again opening the browser, that is before method is called, then test, then after method. Okay, so these after and before method are after method and before method are called before and after each test. Okay, so if we write here, that is before method, and before every test before method is called, and then after method. Now there is another annotation which is known as at the rate before class. Okay, now what this before class annotation is, as the name suggests, this before method is called before any method. So this method before class or annotation will be called before any that class. As we know, Java is stored in .class files. Okay, so when we will be executing this Java, it will be stored as TestNG annotation -1 .class. Okay, so this method will be called after loading this class. That is only one time. For one class file, this method will be called only one time. Okay, if I write here public void before class, and suppose when I am working with one Java file, I want to initialize my Selenium driver. Initialize Selenium. Okay, I will include my TestNG library. Okay, if I save this and run this as TestNG, let's see the result. Okay, the result here is yes, Initialize Selenium. During the course of execution, initialize Selenium is called only once. Okay, because we have executed one class file and it will be called only one time. Okay. Similarly, like before class, we have an annotation that is @after class. So it is just opposite to it. It will be called only one time after before class and all the test and after and before methods have been called. So it will be called after that. Okay. So I will make a function public void after class, and in this I want to destroy my Selenium. Destroy Selenium. Save this, include my library. Okay. And if I will run from here, if I run this as TestNG, see the reports here. Okay, this is the initialized Selenium. Okay, this is the initialized Selenium in a before class. Then it's open browser, that is for the method, and then test, then method, and this is the destroy Selenium. So it is called after the end of this class is taking place, that is destroy Selenium only once. Okay, so we have here so this is before class. Okay, and annotation after class. Okay, now we have another like suppose this was my one file. If I have another Java file, okay, I will name it as TestNG, right, annotation 2. Okay, and under this I again make one test. Okay, I will write the annotation test. Okay, first I need to add the function public void test3, and I will print here inside test3. I will include my TestNG library. Okay, if I only run this file, okay, and you see the reports, only this test has been executed, which is only present in this Java file. Okay, if I go to my package and if I right click and run this as TestNG test, and if I check my or I will go through the reports, it would be easy. If I go to the reports, you see that here it had executed all the test, all the functions which have the annotation @test before any function. So it execute all the three tests which are present under this package. Okay, so what when we run anything through TestNG, so it execute all the functions which are starting with annotation @test. Okay, now there is one annotation that is before test. Okay, now what this function annotation is, this annotation is called before any @test. Okay, it is not specific to any class. Okay, Suppose you have 5 classes, and in any of the classes you have mentioned this before test, then this will be the first annotation which will be called. Let me write this and you will get an idea. I will write public void before test, before test, and under this suppose I want to start my execution. Start test execution. Okay, save this. I will include my libraries. Save this and I will run my whole package as TestNG test. If you see at the why it's not it. Okay, yeah, if there's some problem, let us check the console. It won't happen. I think it's some Eclipse is giving a problem. Okay, so if I go run this as TestNG test, yeah, this is fine now. Yeah, so you see here start test execution. This is the first annotation which is called. Under this it has called the test, then initialize Selenium. Okay, then it is moved to this class and it is started working with before class of this. Okay, if I write here suppose before this, if I write here annotation before class, and I will write public void before class, and in my first file in the before class I was mentioning initialize Selenium for class 1, and here destroy Selenium for class 1. Okay, I will copy this and include in my second class file, that is initialize Selenium for class 2 and destroy Selenium for class 2. I'll save this, and if I run my package as TestNG test, then you check the reports now. It's an interesting report. You see, these are my test. Okay, before test the test method is called. Okay, before every class, this was my first class and this was my second class. Okay, the before class and after class are called. Okay, this initialize Selenium for class 2, I think I misspelled it, so that's why it's giving. Okay, and this is for my first class, initialize Selenium for class 1 and destroy Selenium for class 1. But start test execution is called only once. So before test is executed before any test is executed. Okay, so you are getting the hierarchy here. Okay, so here if we say that before class, it is before test, and at the end we have @ after test. So we're getting the hierarchy. Now let's suppose there is one more annotation, that is one more thing, like before test we have after test also, which is called after all tests have been executed. Works the same way. So just I won't show you because it's the same thing only. That is after test and stop test execution. Okay, close the library. Now there is one more annotation, that is at the rate before suit. Before suit is the topmost or the root annotation, uh, which is called as soon as your suit is starting, test suit starts. Okay, so this is the basic or the starting annotation, right? Public void before suit. You can name these functions anything. I'm just giving for the sake so that you can easily identify them. I will write system.out and I have in the before, so write that starting or test execution or starting TestNG. Okay, before the suit is called. And like before suit, we have also an after suit. Okay, which is called when we are ending our suit. Okay, after our test suit, and I'm saying is stopping TestNG. Save this, import my libraries. So let's execute whole of this, and yeah, so check the result. You see, starting TestNG is the starting one, and you after this the before, yeah, first is the before suit and then comes the before test. Okay, and here this is your before test, this first line is your before test and this is your after test. This is your before suit, and after suit is printed after the suit work has been completed, the test ng work has been done, then it is giving me after suit. Okay, so if we check the hierarchy, at the rate before suit is the most starting one, then we have before test, then we have before class for each class, then we have before method which is called for every test, then we have after method, then after class which is respect to for each class, after test which is called before any test is called. Okay, and we have before suit which is, oh sorry, after suit which is called after the suit has been executed. Okay, so this is the hierarchy. Okay, you can download the code from the comment below. Okay, in the comments you will find the link. So this is how you work with, and these are the following types of annotations which are present. So these annotations are really helpful, because if these annotations are not there, suppose you want to initialize your Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so there is no point of initializing the driver again and again. Suppose you have 100 test cases in each of these, you don't need to initialize again and again. Just call this your before test, before this is called only once. This is your before test, yeah, this is called only once before any test case is started, so it will initialize your Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so these annotations are very helpful when you are making a framework, because it saves a lot of your time. Okay, and it also looks good that you are not initializing WebDriver again and opening again and again. The lines of coding is also reduced, and hence your time is also reduced. Okay, now I want to talk you about TestNG XML. Okay, If I suppose run this as TestNG and go to my console, you will see a one good thing here, that before starting TestNG, this XML is prepared. Okay. So when we are running a test through TestNG, TestNG only identifies an XML, that is TestNG XML, and it reads the TestNG XML and execute our test. But you will say that we have not created any TestNG XML, then how our test was executing? This is because what we are executing here, what the TestNG does, it identifies all the tests below it and it creates a default TestNG XML for us, and then it's executing from it. Let's go and see what this test XML has. Okay, and yes, cop and copy this, put under your project. Okay, if I open this in Eclipse, okay, and what happened, guys? Oh, I'm facing a lot of issues. Even actually, I don't have mouse. It's yeah. Yeah, this is my TestNG XML. So it has defaultly created this XML and then it's running from this XML. In this XML, you can see that it has named my suit as a default suit. You can also check this hierarchy is the same as here, somewhat like this. We have a suit. Under suit we have test. Under test we have classes, and under classes we have both are classes. Okay, it's the same hierarchy. Okay, so it prepares this default XML. It consists and it executes all the at the rate test which are present under these class. So I can also right click on this and run this as a test ng suite. So you will get the same result here which for executing this. But this XML is very good because we can customize. Suppose in future I don't want to execute this. There are many class files and I don't want to include these. I can just delete it and run this. So you can customize your testing with the help of this test ng XML. Okay. So thank you guys. In the next videos, I will be covering more concepts for the test ng, that how to skip the test, how to modify or fail the test, etc. That how to show in the reports. Thank you.